Welcome back to Voice of Compassion. We live in a world obsessed with reputation. We worry about what others think, say, and believe about us. When we are falsely accused or misunderstood, our first instinct is to fight back, to defend our name at all costs. But what if true strength lies not in fighting, but in staying steady? Today on Voice of Compassion, we meet Master Hakuin, a monk who lived a quiet and pure life until a shocking rumor turned his world upside down. Accused of a terrible mistake he didn't commit, he responds with only two simple words, words that carry the weight of a mountain and the lightness of a cloud. Open your heart and let's listen to the story of Is That So? Story 11, Is That So? Part 1, The Accusation. Pounce the baby. Introduction. The master, who lived quietly in a small village tucked between hills and rice fields, there was a little Zen temple. It was not large, it was not rich, but people spoke of it with respect. Not because of its walls, but because of the man who lived inside. His name was Hakuin. He lived simply. Before sunrise, he woke. He swept the temple path until the stones were clean. He sat in silence until the birds began to call. He ate plain food. He mended his robe when it tore. He spoke few words, and when he did, they were gentle and clear. Many villagers believed he was a rare kind of person, a pure person. They said he never looked at women, never drank, never argued, never desired comfort. Some people came to ask for advice. Some came only to sit quietly near him. Some came when their hearts felt heavy, hoping his calm would touch them. Hakuin did not chase respect. He simply lived his practice. And because he lived quietly and honestly, the village trusted him. So when his name was spoken, it was spoken like clean water. Until one day, a different kind of word entered the village, a sharp word, a dirty rumor, the accusation. There was a young girl in the village. She worked at her parents' shop. Her family was strict. They watched her closely. They cared about their name, their honor, their standing. But the girl had a secret. She had met a young man. She had fallen into a hidden relationship. And in time, she became pregnant. When her belly began to show, her parents discovered the truth. Their shock turned quickly into fury. "Who did this?" her father shouted. "Tell us now!" the girl cried. She trembled. At first, she refused to speak. But her parents did not stop. They demanded the name again and again. The girl's fear grew, fear of punishment, fear of shame, fear of losing her home. So her mind reached for an escape, a name that felt impossible to blame, a name no one would question, a name that would protect the real man. She whispered, "It was Master Hakuin." The room went silent. Her parents stared as if struck. Then rage exploded. "The monk!" her mother cried. "That holy man? That liar?" The father's face turned red. "He pretends to be pure," he hissed. "And he hides this?" They ran out of the house like a storm. In a village, words travel fast. Before the sun had set, people were whispering at the well, in the market, on the road. "Did you hear? The master with the girl? So he is not what he seems." Some did not believe it. "No," they said, "impossible." But others already tasted the drama. A fall is exciting to watch, especially when the person falling was placed high. And soon, the whispers grew into loud voices, the confrontation. One evening, the temple gate opened with force. Footsteps stormed in. Hakuin was in the courtyard, sweeping fallen leaves. The air was cool. The sky was pale. He looked up and saw a group approaching. The girl's parents were in front. Behind them were villagers, men and women, curious and angry, faces tight with judgment. The father's eyes were wild. He pointed at Hakuin like pointing at a crime. "You!" he shouted. "You shameful man!" Hakuin stood still. He rested the broom against the wall gently, as if there was no emergency. He did not run. He did not defend himself. He did not ask what was happening. He simply looked at the group with calm eyes. The mother stepped forward, shaking. "Our daughter is pregnant," she cried. "And she says you are the father," the crowd murmured. Some gasped, some shook their heads, some stared at Hakuin, waiting for him to break, waiting for anger, waiting for denial, waiting for fear. But Hakuin's face did not change. His breathing remained slow. The father's voice grew louder. "Answer us!" he shouted. "Are you going to pretend now? Are you going to lie?" The villagers pressed in closer. Some shouted insults. "Fake monk! Hypocrite! Disgusting!" Their voices hit the temple air like stones. Yet Hakuin stood like a mountain, quiet, still, present. He looked at the father, then the mother, then the crowd, and in a calm voice, Hakuin said only, "Is that so?" The crowd froze for a moment. That was not the answer they wanted. It was not a fight, not a confession, not a denial. It was like a door that would not open into drama. The father became even angrier. "Is that so?" he shouted. "You think this is a joke?" Hakuin did not argue. He did not explain. He only bowed his head slightly as if accepting the moment as it was. Months passed. The girl gave birth, a baby boy. Small, red-faced, crying loudly as if the world itself felt unfair. The parents were filled with shame and anger. They did not want the child, not in their house, not with their name, not as a sign of scandal. They decided to bring the baby to Hakuin, to force him to carry the weight. The baby is brought. It was a cold morning when they came. The sky was grey, wind moved through the trees. Hakuin was sitting in meditation inside the temple hall. The doors burst open. The father marched in holding a wrapped bundle. The mother followed, eyes hard and tired. Villagers came too, hungry to watch. The father stepped forward and thrust the bundle toward Hakuin. "Here," he said, "your child." The baby cried, weak and high. The mother's voice shook with anger. "Take him," she said. "You ruined our daughter." "Now you will raise this child." The room held its breath. Hakuin opened his eyes slowly. He looked at the baby. The baby's face was wrinkled, small, innocent. He did not look like shame. He did not look like rumor. He looked like life. Hakuin reached out and took the child gently into his arms. He did not flinch. He did not argue. He pulled the blanket around the baby, protecting him from the cold air. Then he looked at the parents and said quietly, "Is that so?" The father's face twisted with frustration. The crowd murmured again. Some felt satisfied. Good, they thought, now he suffers. Some felt confused. Why is he not fighting back? The parents turned and left. The villagers left too. And Hakuin remained standing in the hall, holding the crying baby, in complete silence. He looked down at the child's face. The baby's tiny hand moved and grabbed his robe. Hakuin's expression softened, almost invisible. Then he whispered, so softly only the baby could hear, "It's all right." Story 11, is that so? Part 2, Raising the Baby. The truth. Reflection. The struggle begins. The next morning, Hakuin woke before sunrise as he always did. The temple was quiet, but now there was another sound, a small, hungry cry. The baby's voice filled the wooden hall, thin and desperate, like a bird calling in the cold. Hakuin rose from his mat and walked to where the baby slept in a basket lined with old cloth. The baby's face was red from crying, his tiny fists opened and closed. Hakuin looked down at him. He did not feel anger, he did not feel shame. He felt only the truth of what was in front of him. A child needs care. He lifted the baby gently. The baby quieted for half a second. then cried again, louder. Hakuin understood. The baby was hungry, but Hakuin had no milk. A monk's life was simple. Rice, vegetables, water, sometimes a little tea. Not the food of infants. Hakuin wrapped the baby tighter against his chest and stepped into the cold morning. The village was still asleep. Smoke rose faintly from a few chimneys. The air smelled of frost and wet wood. Hakuin walked to the home of an older woman who sometimes helped the temple with small things. He knocked softly. After a moment, the door opened. The woman blinked, surprised to see him. Then her eyes fell on the baby in his arms. Her face changed, shock, then suspicion, then something quieter. "Master?" she whispered. The baby cried again, and the woman's heart responded before her judgment could. "Oh," she said softly, stepping back. "Come inside." Inside her home, it was warmer. The woman brought a small bowl of goat milk and warmed it carefully. She held the baby's head and helped him drink. The baby swallowed greedily, then sighed. His whole body softened. For the first time, the room felt calm. The woman looked at Hakuin, uncertain. "Is it true?" she asked quietly. "What they say?" Hakuin's face remained peaceful. He did not correct her. He did not defend himself. He simply said, "The child was brought to me." The woman studied him. Then she looked at the baby again. She nodded slowly. "I can bring milk sometimes," she said. "But people will talk." Hakuin bowed. "Thank you," he said. "Let them talk." And so the days began. Hakuin learned quickly. He learned how to warm milk without burning it, how to wash cloth and dry it near the fire, how to hold the baby so he could breathe easily, how to rock him when the crying would not stop. At night, when the wind blew through the temple cracks, Hakuin wrapped the child close to his own body for warmth. He gave the baby the best corner near the small stove. He, the old monk, took the coldest place. He did not complain, not once. The cold looks, but the village did complain. Not to Hakuin's face at first. They did it in whispers. When he walked to the market, people stepped aside. Mothers pulled their daughters away. Men frowned and turned their faces. Hakuin felt the cold eyes on him like winter wind, but he did not harden. He did not push anger back. He moved slowly and kindly, as if he could not see the poison in their looks. One morning, a group of boys followed him and laughed. "Look," one shouted, "the holy man has a baby." "Maybe he'll have another." The words were sharp. Hakuin did not turn around. He only adjusted the baby's blanket and kept walking. The baby slept on his chest, warm, unaware of shame. When Hakuin returned to the temple, he swept the steps as always. The broom moved over stone. Shh, shh. A simple sound, a calm mind. Yet the hardship was real. Some villagers stopped leaving offerings at the temple. Rice became scarce. Firewood became scarce. Hakuin began to eat less, but he made sure the baby ate. He sold a few small temple items to buy milk. He mended old cloth into diapers and blankets. He carried the baby while chopping wood, while fetching water, while cleaning. In the early months, his arms ached constantly. His back hurt. His sleep was broken again and again by cries in the night. Some nights, the baby would cry for hours, and the sound would bounce off the wooden walls until the temple felt like a drum of exhaustion. Hakuin sat in the dim light, rocking the child. His eyes were tired, but his face stayed gentle. He would whisper to the baby, "Is that so? Is that so?" Not as a joke, as a soft acceptance, a way of saying, "This is what is here right now, so I will meet it." Months pass. The baby grew. His crying changed from sharp hunger to simple need. He began to smile sometimes, sudden and bright. He learned to hold Hakuin's finger with a tiny grip that felt like a promise. Hakuin gave the child a name, not a famous name, a simple one, Haru, spring. Because even in cold seasons, Hakuin believed spring would come. Sometimes, when Hakuin sat in meditation, Haru would crawl nearby, playing with small wooden beads. Sometimes Haru would fall asleep against Hakuin's robe, listening to the slow rhythm of his breathing, and slowly, quietly the temple changed, not in wealth, not in reputation, but in warmth, because where there is love, even a simple hut becomes a home. Some villages began to soften too, not all, but some. A mother who had once pulled her daughter away now left a small bottle of milk at the temple gate, then hurried off without saying anything. An old man left a bundle of firewood one morning, pretending it was extra and not a gift. A few people began to smile at the baby when they saw him. The baby smiled back, innocent and free. And that innocence slowly broke through the village's hard judgment. The truth revealed. One day, after many months, the young girl could not carry the lie anymore. Her heart had grown heavy. The real father, her lover, had left the village long ago. The shame stayed behind like smoke on clothing. Her parents were still angry, but now, when they looked at the baby, they felt something else too. Regret. Because the baby was not a rumor anymore. He was a living child. And the monk, this quiet monk they accused, had raised him with patient kindness. The girl's mother began to cry at night. The father became restless, walking without speaking. At last the girl confessed. It happened in the same house where the lie began. Her voice shook. "It was not Master Hakuin," she whispered. "It was not him. I lied." The room went silent. Her father's face turned pale. Her mother covered her mouth. All their anger collapsed into shame. They had destroyed a good man's name. They had thrown an innocent child like a stone, and the man they accused had carried the child with love. That same day, the parents walked to the temple. This time, they did not bring a mob, no villagers behind them, no shouting, only heavy footsteps, only lowered heads. The temple gate opened softly. Hakuin was in the courtyard, washing cloth in a wooden bucket. Haru sat nearby, playing with a small stick. The parents stopped a few steps away. The father bowed deeply. His voice was broken. "Master," he said, "forgive us." The mother's tears fell freely. "Our daughter lied," she whispered. "The child is not yours. We were blind. We were cruel." Hakuin did not stop washing. He listened quietly. Then he looked up. His face was the same calm face it had always been. No victory, no bitterness, only presence. The parents lifted their eyes, afraid. The father continued, trembling. "We came to take the child back," he said. We should have never placed this burden on you." Hakuin looked at Haru. Haru looked up and smiled, then crawled toward him with small hands. Hakuin dried his hands and lifted the child into his arms. He held Haru close for a moment, not dramatic, but real. But then he turned to the parents and placed the child gently into the mother's arms. Haru blinked, confused, then reached back toward Hakuin's robe. The mother cried harder. Hakuin touched the child's head softly, then looked at the parents. And he said, in the same quiet voice, "Is that so?" The parents broke. The father bowed again and again. The mother whispered, "Thank you," through tears. They turned to leave, carrying the child, their hearts heavy with regret. Hakuin watched them go. His arms felt empty. His temple felt quiet in a new way. But his face did not show sorrow or anger. He returned to his bucket, to his cloth, to his breath, to this moment, reflection. And now, dear listener, this story is not only about a monk, it is about praise and blame, because life will praise you one day and blame you the next. People will misunderstand you, people will judge you, people will speak as if they know your heart. And you may feel the urge to defend yourself, to fight, to shout, to explain. Sometimes you should speak, yes, sometimes you should protect your boundaries, but there is also a deeper power, the power to stay steady. Hakuin did not accept praise as his identity, and he did not accept blame as his identity. He simply met each moment with the same calm. Is that so? Not cold, not careless, but free. Free from needing to control people's minds. Free from being owned by opinions. And in the months of hardship, he did something even greater. He loved an innocent child, even while the world looked at him with hate. He did not love for reward. He did not love for reputation. He loved because love was right in front of him. So tonight, if someone misunderstands you, if you feel blamed, if you feel the pressure of people's stories, take a slow breath. Ask yourself, can I stay kind? Can I stay steady? Can I meet this moment without losing myself? Maybe you cannot always say, is that so?
Out loud, but you can say it inside, and when you do, you step out of the storm. You return to your breath, you return to your true self. Rest now. Let praise come and go. Let blame come and go, like clouds crossing the moon, and keep the quiet moon of your heart untouched. The end. And so Master Hakuin returned to his sweeping, his heart as clear as the sky. This story teaches us the ultimate freedom, the freedom from the need to control what others think. Praise and blame are like winds, they come and go. If we anchor ourselves in our own truth, no storm can shake us. Hakuin showed us that compassion isn't just about being kind when it's easy. It's about doing the right thing, even when the whole world is against you. Thank you for finding peace with Voice of Compassion. If this story helped you find your center today, please share it with someone who might be weathering a storm. May your heart remain steady, no matter what the wind brings. Goodbye.